Alrighty, guys, we have something to talk about today, and it is surprisingly racism in Texas. You know, something that's never happened before. But before we get into all that, let's go ahead and get into the fan art section. This first one is from Kunai Chi Snep. Finally got this to where I like it. This is Suris, Grand Slime Wizard Cat. They're on a mission to hunt down the dastardly sneaky slime Suris that escaped when a kobold sufficiently looked like slime Suris tricked Suris the Grand Slime Wizard into knocking the jar over and shattering it, letting it escape. Huh. Also, should be noted, the pixel density of this image is such that, if I click away from it, it won't reload. So, watch. Here's the next piece. I click back. And now we wait forever. Talk about thick. The next one we have here is from Mish Monster. Apparently it is me looking at Mish and Saki and wondering why they're both in my spaghetti. The next one we have, the last one, is from Panda Cat Lad. It has been well over a year since this broadcast set me on my art journey, and since I first posted, but to celebrate, I am predicting Andy Tater's next GIF. Andrew Tate going, I was a virgin this whole time. Jesus Christ. Anyway, as always, everybody, thank you all for your fan art submissions. If you want your fan art to be shown in a future video, the best way to do so is to drop it into the fan art section of the Discord. With that said, though, let's go ahead and get right into the topic. We got some things to cover. But yeah. Oh, this was the first thing I saw. This was the first thing I read. Just black people are fucking lazy. That was the first thing I read, and I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh, okay, looks like I'm covering this one today. Neat. But, you know, this literally posted just yesterday. Cinder, thank you very much for redeeming your points for an... You fucking degen. But, so a Texas company displayed hate symbols and nooses, allowing their managers to call black employees the N-word and all kinds of shit. Allegedly, you know, allegedly. The U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission has filed a lawsuit against one of the biggest crane providers in North America, accusing them of racial discrimination against 4 black employees. TNT Crane and Rigging is listed as a defendant in the lawsuit filed on August 24th. It alleges that the company fostered and subjected employees identified as Edwin, Lorenzo, Frenzy, and Jason to a hostile work environment. According to the lawsuit, the employees had to grapple with their field manager as well as a number of colleagues using racially offensive language, including the N-word on the job. Also, hate symbols associated with white supremacy, like nooses and lightning bolt stickers, were openly displayed on the grounds with no disciplinary action. Huh. Welp. The only thing I hate more than that is a Nubian. Because a Nubian just dropped 50,001 channel points. Fuck you! I cover serious things and you make me say silly catchphrases. Oh, whoa. There. You got it. You're done. You're finished. There's a hydrate there. Sure, I'll drink a drink of refreshing liquids. Now, back to this shit. I'm going to start ignoring every single thing that people tell me to do during anything. Whenever I'm covering a topic, I'm just going to start ignoring all of the Twitch activity feed. In one April 2018 incident, Smith, who served as a crane operator, was ordered by the field manager to pick up an air conditioning unit at the Fort Worth facility while working in Frisco, Texas. He was met with racial slurs when he asked the manager for help. She said, "N-word? If you're gonna bitch about it, you can turn your truck right around and take your ass home." the manager allegedly said, according to the lawsuit. When Smith attempted to report him, as stated in the lawsuit, he didn't receive an effective response from his management. Creighton also allegedly had a similar experience while working as a crane operator at the company. The complaint also said that he was called the N-word by a field manager. It also alleges that Campbell, a truck driver, overheard his colleagues using the derogatory term. He later discovered that he was also being referred to as the white co-worker's, Black Daddy? Whenever he tried to put in a report to management, he was told that it would be handled, and then of course it wasn't. It just wasn't. Huh. That's kind of a... I can just imagine, right? There's going to be a couple sides here. There's going to be the sides that are going to come in favor of the crane company, and they're going to come in favor in one of two waves, right? There's going to be the ones that were like, well, how do we know this story is true? And fair. Hearsay is a thing. People lie all the time. Sure, why not? I mean, that's why we have the whole discovery thing whenever we do a case trial, right? That's why we have that. The other side, though, are, well, why does it matter? Why can't we just call them that at work? Why don't we just do that? What's wrong with that? It's just words. It's just words. All right. And to that group of people, who I know are going to be in my comment section, because they always are, without fail. If you went to work, and that work was made hostile to you every single time, would you want to go back to that workplace? And before you do the whole, like, hey, why don't you just go work somewhere else? That's not really a thing everybody can do. Because if we start accepting that workplaces can just make themselves hostile to their workers, eventually, as more workplaces are more hostile, there's going to be fewer workplaces for people who don't want to deal with those hostilities. As simple as that. Eventually, there comes a point where you have to go, hey, I'm a human being. I don't like being treated this way. And I think that's... I would rather work on changing the world in such a way that people did not have to deal with this type of treatment, as opposed to making a world where people were just adapted to this kind of maltreatment. The complaint also says he was called the N-word by a field manager. It also alleges... Okay, we already went through that one. Brady started working as a rigger for the company in 2019. He claimed that in one interaction, a white colleague told him, "A lot of black people are fucking lazy, but you're different. You ain't like them other N-words. You work tough. You work through. That's what I like about you." Oh boy, you're one of the good one-ums. You're one of the good one-ums. That's... Very hard for me to take anybody seriously when they do this, because that's like... Is this how we enable Pygmies? This is how we enable Pygmies. So that's not a traditional statement at all? No, it's not. But it's one that almost everybody's seen. Like, everybody's heard at least one person who's like, I don't like insert group of people here, but you're different. I like you. You're one of the good ones. And like, but what's the commonality in the bad ones? And how is it associated to my race? Like, this is like when, so just a quick tangent. This is why we make fun of the meme. This is one of the reasons why we make fun of the meme when the r/nice guy, fedora in hand, goes, "Ladies, now I know I am a male, a man, if you would. Now I know that they're all trash, but trust me, I'm different. I'm, how would you put it, one of the good ones." And we make fun of that person, right? We make fun of that person all the fucking time. Not like those other girls, not like those other guys. We make fun of that person because it's Let's go ahead and call it what it's cringy as hell. They're cringy as hell. So why does anybody think it's any more flattering to do the other side? Why does anybody think it's more flattering to do the other thing? Like, let's say that you're dating an actual stereotypical, the person that the right wing tries to pretend that all feminists are back in the heyday of the anti-SJW video creator. Let's say that you were actually confronted with the rare man-hating feminist. The rare man-hating feminist. And they're really attractive. And you decide you want to, you ask her out on a date. It works out. You guys go and you have a date. And then the entire time you have to hear every terrible thing that not the patriarchy has done, because that's outside of your control, but like just men. Just men in general. How they're all awful, and it's part of how we're bred, and it's how we're raised, it's all of that. And then you get told, okay, but you're one of the good ones. You're different. You're not like other guys. Would you feel privileged or would you feel insulted? Because I'd feel a little insulted. I'd be like, okay, so what's the commonality and what does it have with me being a guy? Is it that everybody here is born trash and we must make ourselves better? Or are we part of a society that's been mostly patriarchal and therefore it sucks and we need to make it better? Like, is it my fault for being born this way, or is it society's fault and we need to fix that? Because one of these I can agree with, and the other one I want to measure my drywall with my forehead if I'm listening to. Same thing here. Why would anybody think that that's a happy thing to say? You're diminishing a person's entire race, and then, oh, but don't worry, you're different. And trust me, this person who does the whole... this guy's different. I guarantee you he doesn't talk that way towards his other friends. I guarantee you when he talks to his other friends, he views his, quote, black friends as just as bad as everyone else. The complaint mentions Nathan Cook, a white employee who was targeted after reporting the harassment and discrimination he witnessed in the workplace. According to the lawsuit, Cook alleged that he was physically assaulted and labeled a wigger and a snitch. And for those who don't know that term, that's a 90s term for a white guy who hangs around black people or tries to act black. Following his complaints, his hours and pay were then reduced. The alleged retaliation, along with other factors, led him to resign from his position. TNT knowingly permitted a work environment filled with racist comments and imagery. No employee should have to work in an environment openly hostile to their race. No employee should suffer reprisal for objecting to discriminatory practices. EEOC attorney Brian Hawthorne said that in a recent news release. The lawsuit requests compensatory and punitive damages for the black employees, and for Cook, they seek similar relief, including back pay, front pay, and even potential reinstatement. Because, again, it wasn't... is a hostile work environment. If you resign because of a hostile work environment, it is very, very difficult to try to argue that this is your fault. It's very, very difficult to try to be like, well, work environment was shit, but he left. He left the work environment. That was a... If he wanted to get paid, he oughtn't have done that. Well, that's like saying, hey, I've got $50 for you, and all you have to do to earn it is I need to break your jaw. And then tomorrow, when you're like, my phone bill's coming up, and it's probably going to get turned off. I'll have to be a few days without that. That's unfortunate, but, you know, all my other bills are paid, but really don't want that. And then I coming up to you and just sauntering up going, well, now, if you'd let me break your jaw, then you wouldn't have had to worry about that. You'd have $50 in your hand right now. Now, first of all, those of you who have $50 phone bills, you're lucky. Secondly, that you shouldn't have to accept that kind of hostility. I know a broken jaw is not the same thing in terms of, like, type of crap people are having to deal with as what's going on here, but it's not your fault for not accepting the $50. It's not your fault for not accepting that. But this is where I have to throw it back to you guys. How do you feel about this entire situation? Do you feel like people in the workplace should be allowed to just refer to you exactly as they want all the time, even when that's the most terrible and offensive thing? Is that not only appropriate, but should that be legal? Let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, and if we see any developments on this, throw them my way. Insert end of video tagline here.